just for reference of scale, here's my finger, look. I'm gonna snip them down just above a node and then they'll regrow from that point. Hello, hello buddy. You're okay, you're not too shy, are you? Razor scraper, which works really, really well. I've got bigger pipes than this that can do it way faster because I'm still using the suck method to get the siphon going. That's what I'm trying to create here, their own little home. We are gonna be adding in the disc. No, I'm kidding. So otherwise, I'm probably not gonna see them for a while after that, making sure that none of this duckweed goes in either. So this is a tank I've set up. They've come right up to me. My electric blue aquaria to breed in, and that was like a few months ago, and they're not doing it. But they were doing it. Yeah, these little beauties, they were giving birth. Well, not both of them, obviously. The female was giving birth like once every few months. We had great success. I've even got babies that aren't so sort of babyish anymore. They're more like juveniles. They're over in the fish wall. But as soon as I moved into this tank, nice private little place for them on their own, no threat of attack to the babies, they stopped breeding. And from what I can tell, maybe that's the reason why they stopped or, you know, didn't even try to have babies, is there's no threat of attack. There's no reason to breed. So they were previously in a tank, a much bigger tank, with chunks and a load of red-eye tetra, lemon tetra, lots of fish above them. They seem to find their own caves, and like I say, every few months we had wigglers, past wigglers actually. We've got free swimming fish, and eventually I think like in night times and things like that, those would get eaten, and that was why I was like, well, put them in their own, then they can survive. And yeah, we haven't had that. So I'm going to change a few things today, doing some reading, got some recommendations from you guys as well. Changes we can make to sort of enable that to happen. I mean, obviously the first one's going to be, let's put some dither fish in. Normally you use dither fish, so hard to say. Normally you use dither fish to bring like shy fish out so they feel comfortable, but it can also apparently work for breeding as well. So like I said, it just triggers that response. We need to reproduce. You know, there's a threat to the area or what have you. Before I do anything though, I'm gonna give their tank a bit of a tidy up. I sort of just left it. The last one they're breeding in, I never cleaned it because it was due for a rescape. And this went on for months because I didn't want to disturb them. And it was quite moldy and everything. So I was trying to just sort of leave everything so it kind of create those conditions again, just to see if that worked, you know, before we start doing everything else. But it hasn't. So what I'm gonna do is just prep the tank ready for some new fish going in, give it a bit of a tidy up, a little bit of a glass wipe. Might do a little water change as well because this hasn't had one in a long time. Again, I was just trying to let the wood leach, the pH, you know, drop a little bit, but you know, this isn't really the sort of wood that leaches. So I think if I just get things a little bit tidied up and ready for some new fish, get some botanicals in there as well, I think we could get some breeding action going on. And when I do see that, I can remove the dither fish. I have got to show you these cuties on the fish wall for those of you that hadn't seen. Look at this little guy here. Look at these. Oh, here they come. So just for reference of scale, here's my finger, look. When they were in here, they were microscopic, like little wisps. You could barely see them. And now we're getting some great growth already. It's been several months, don't get me wrong. I mean, these things take time. But it's only going to be a few more months where they're of a decent size. They've got colour quite quickly. Look, this one's decent size already. I'm saying, not compared to the adults, but yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to them growing up. They're so cute. So this plant all around here, this big sort of one that's overpowering everything, stopping flow, and it's going to be a pain if I want to catch fish later on, is called Pinnatophyta, Hygrophila pinnatophyta, and I'm going to snip it all down at the bases to take it off. It'll regrow again, but more compact. It tries to grow upwards initially, but if you keep trimming it at certain points, it will grow horizontally. So I'm happy just to leave the sort of shorter pieces. They're fine. But all these tall ones, I'm just going to snip them down just above a node, and then they'll regrow from that point. They are a stem plant, you see. They're a strange one. They're a stem plant, but you can just attach them to wood, because none of these are planted as substrate. They're just poked into all this, into the anubius, and then they just kind of draw nutrients out from the water column. Now, usually I'd take trimmings like this and just save them, but these are quite alkified, just where I've not done anything to this tank, not tried to correct anything as well. Just wanted to leave it to see if they would breed, but it isn't the case, so obviously we are making changes. Yeah, that already looks a lot nicer. Oh, you can see back here, look, one of the Java fern leaves has broken off, and it's made little babies that are all caught around the inlet. So these are all the little baby leaves converted to this type of water and everything. Look how good they look. Definitely don't want to get rid of those. Just tuck them in anywhere. I'm going to tuck them in here, get them stuck there, and they'll just continue growing. There's a dodgy leaf. Get that one out as well. Next job now is just to get right in there, look, and just waft everything around. Hello. Hello, buddy. You're okay. You're not too shy, are you? It's not used to me having so much sort of, you know, right inside the tank. They're fine with a bit of glass scraping and things like that, because that's basically all I do. But this tank's a little bit different. Look, it does hold mold because I set it up in a way that it hasn't got a substrate system, purely so I can move everything around easy when we get babies. And I say when, because we are going to get babies. Waft all that around. Right, next up, glass cleaning. Now, we've got a couple of options. We can either use, you know, the old razor scraper, which works really, really well, but it's a bit more time consuming than just taking the magic sponge and just everywhere. It's not just a normal sponge. It's got a slight, I'd say, abrasiveness to it. Not like, I'm not talking to the point where it's going to scratch the glass, but it should, like a non-stick pan cleaner, that sort of thing. It doesn't scratch the glass, but will remove algae. Might not be heavy duty enough. Can you hear that? Lovely noise. Yeah, I can feel the glass on the back end where I've been. It's completely coming off, so that's good. Makes it nice and easy, to be honest. Razor scraping's fine, but you've got to be so precise up and down, whereas this, look, you can just get in there. Sometimes you need the razor scraper, you really do. If you've got that sort of ground on, you know, green spot algae and stuff like that on your glass, the razor scraper really is the one for that. But if it's just on gentle like this stuff, it's fine. Look, there's a fishy. Look, he's absolutely fine. Not even worried. Now I'm going to take about 50% of the water out the tank. I've got bigger pipes than this that can do it way faster, but I'm going for a smaller hose just so it's not too fast. I can keep an eye on it and get in areas that I need to. You know, I won't get the fish caught or anything like that. Not that I would anyway, but you know, you can be more precise with a smaller tube. It takes more time, but we can get right in there where we need to as well. So I'm going to go for like 50%. There we go. And lots of people laugh because I'm still using the suck method to get the siphon going. But anyway, as it's going like this, we want to waft everything around, get it into the water column. You won't get everything, of course you won't, but if you can dilute it as much as possible, then that's great. I keep the filter going when I'm doing this, just because I'm not going to drop below the inlet of the filter, so it won't stop running. And it also just help clean it up as well. And if we need to do a filter clean afterwards, then I can. I don't think I will do though, because it's not really a lot of waste in this. Always though, make sure you're paying attention to your container, because I literally just forgot about it and it's about to overflow. Well, not yet, but it will do soon if I don't pay attention. There we go, just shy of 50%. If I go any lower, it's going to cut all the filter out on that. But I've got dechlorinated tap water going in, already brought to temperature because it sits in the room. Yeah, if I just follow the pipe. So I fill up this water butt here, and it just sits in the room, getting to the temperature of all the tanks because the room's heated. And then all I've got to do is add a bit of dechlorinator to it and just switch a pump on, turn the valve, and we're winning. Lots of people ask where to buy this. This is literally from an old filter. It's just the inlet. I just put this over the end to make sure that the fish couldn't get sort of hurt or anything. And then this is just a ball valve and a hose pipe that attaches to it on and off. And you can see it isn't fully unwound, so it's not its fastest flow rate, but it's plenty fast enough to fill up. And I'm just going to go around the edges and just give that a nice little wipe. There's a little bit of residue in that on there, all the way around. Okay, looking smart. So this is what I class as filled up. I always drop it about an inch below, sometimes even more, depending on the fish. But these guys have always had it about this height, so they're all good. Just going to go around now and just scoop out some of the, you know, dead leaves or ones that have come loose when I was trimming. Don't want those floating around because they'll just degrade and it's just more nutrients for algae to grow. Yeah, we'll just scoop those up. Some of them have got caught amongst it. I can see a few, but they'll work their way like out as time goes by. But for now, I just take off the surface ones. Whenever I'm walking around the studio, if ever I see like any leaves on the top, I either take them out by hand or just grab this and scoop them out. It is all looking so much fresher though, right? One thing I do want to do though is make sure that that surface stays fresh. So I've got a surface skimmer to go in that back corner, and that will keep it crystal clear on the top, stop sort of any organic build-up. They are a decent sized fish, so I do feed them quite a decent amount, and it's not a huge volume. Obviously, the idea of that is when they give birth, I can catch everything easy. So yeah, let's get that fitted at the back. Nothing special, just a cheap little surface skimmer. It'll also give us a little bit better flow in the tank because it will just push everything around a little bit more. Plug it in. There we go. So yeah, you can just see there, look, surface skimmer blows across the back, and then the outlet for the filter comes this way. Oh, some of you might be wondering, what is the filter? And it's been a while, so I can't even remember. There we go. Awase Biomaster 250, smallest one. That's an inline heater that doesn't get used. It's just from when I was at a previous location, and I used to heat the tanks, but I couldn't be bothered to redo the pipe work. But yeah, just a simple filter like that. Perfect. You can just clean the pre-filter for it, and then yeah, it just makes maintenance a bit easier. So what's next for the tank then? Obviously, we've not really done anything there apart from tidy up and a bit of a water change. Sometimes apparently water changes can trigger breeding. If the temperature's slightly off or lower, it can like make the fish think the rains have come, which apparently, I don't know why that's a good thing. I guess if they're egg scatterers, they can then have the eggs sort of travel down, safer place, what have you. But these aren't egg scattering fish. They lay their eggs in like an area, wait for them to hatch and sort of just have a little home. So that's what I'm trying to create here, their own little home. Yeah, next thing I want to do a couple of things. I want to add in some botanicals in the bottom. Apparently that can really help. And I'm also going to put some cover over the top in terms of some floating plants as well. I don't mind using that when I put the diver fish in because they can be so easily removed, the floating plants, and then the fish can be scooped as well. Oh, by the way, every single thing in here can actually come out. Very easy. It's all attached to a couple of pieces of wood and some rocks, and it all lifts up. But we don't really need to do that. The mulm is actually quite good that's probably locked in underneath. It's going to help with, you know, like an area for babies to feed from. I'm talking about like micro critters and things like that. It's probably in there. I mean, I can't really tell without getting a microscope, can I? So I've got some nice botanicals here, some leaf litter. Now they are going to tint the water a little bit, or probably a lot, but if it gets some breeding, then that's the good thing. I'm thinking it just causes a slight pH drop, and that's then what triggers the fish into thinking rainy season, I guess. Again, it could be different for these particular fish, the Acara, but I have done this and it's worked before with other breeds of fish. And lots of people were saying as well in comments I read, so don't think I don't read your comments, that they were saying stick in the botanicals, that'll get them breeding for sure. Space them out a little bit. Okay, it adds a little bit to the tank as well. Bit of colour. Yeah, actually quite like the look of that as well. Right, let's get some floating plants in the top. Look at this, they're already keen. They're like, what are you doing? What's going on? I'm improving things for you guys. Yes, in the top goes mini water lettuce. I've chosen some that's not got too long roots as well, so it just doesn't look ridiculous straight away. They will grow it, of course, and they're going to go and sit wherever they want, but it's going to help provide a bit of cover, keep down on the algae as well, because what they're going to do is suck up nutrients very, very quickly. They grow fast, they multiply, and that requires nutrients. So hopefully that keeps things at bay. I mean, it's pretty good. Look, I haven't done really any algae removal there, and the whole thing looks a lot cleaner already. It was just surface scum on a lot of the plants and that. There's a little bit of BBA over here on this piece of wood. Now, lots of people struggle with getting that off. What I use is a glutaraldehyde. I've got CO2 booster, and I put it in a syringe and just sort of just squirt it onto it, and it goes purpley pink, and then it just sort of either falls off and dies eventually, or if you've got snails, shrimp, otocinclus, that sort of thing, they peck away and eat it, but they won't eat it when it's alive. You have to kill it first. You can also dose the water column, but it's very, very slow method of doing it because you can't concentrate it too hard because it'd be damaging for the fish and the rest of the plants. So you kind of have to use the whole tank's dose in a small area and just inject it on, and it does work really well then. Right, then it's time to add in some fish to the tank, and I've got the perfect ones in mind. We are going to be adding in the disc. No, I'm kidding. I was just saying that to give an excuse to show these guys off. Look at this. Tank is thriving now. We've got some really sort of a hierarchy of fish has evolved, which you always get with a group of fish. This is the boss. You can see that just by the size, but also, you know, some of the blues are as well. Particularly this section. This is their area, and they're all pretty chill at the moment because there's no food in the tank, but there's some aggression shows when food is around, which is absolutely normal. As long as it's not all day and constant fish getting bullied, you always see a bit of aggression as well when I come to the tank with the camera. But yeah, look, they're pretty chilled. The tank itself, plant-wise, is just taking off. which I'm really happy with because it just makes it go into autopilot. The dwarf sage at the start now is really starting to creep, and we've got new leaves appearing. Dwarf sage is one of those plants where it doesn't really do a lot to start with, and then all of a sudden it finds like the nutrients everywhere underneath the substrate and just pops up absolutely everywhere. You can see there's all new leaves and everything down here. I didn't plant them all there, they're all close here, so that is growing so well. And I'm really pleased with this. It's going perfectly so far. This tank's actually due a water change. This is the only tank I water change. Like the rest of them I just very rarely do. Only really when needed, which is often not before I redo the tank. But these guys, I'm feeding them so much, I am trying to keep right up on it every week, do a 50% water change or so. There's tons of food going on with them, but it is working. They all look super healthy. The tank's doing good. And yeah, I'm going to continue with that. Yeah, sorry, anyway, the fish that are going in to the Aquaria tank. So I actually was thinking of two options. So we've got a really nice group of Harlequin raspora here. But the problem is they are about bite size. I think they'd be absolutely fine, but I don't particularly want to take the risk. So next door to them, we've got a group of red-tailed rasporas, and they're going to be easy to catch for a start, but they're not eating size. They're top swimmers and they are fast as well. So I think that'll be the perfect fish for this job. But I do obviously need to catch them, and this is a fully scaped tank, so it's not going to be easy. What I'm going to have to do, they're already ready for me to feed them. Look, they're all coming to the surface. So I'm going to do some food sprinkle, take a big net, and hopefully I can get them all in one. Because otherwise I'm probably not going to see them for a while after that. That'll spook them too much. Got an empty jug here. If I just hang that over the edge, sort of go straight in that. Right then, bit of food. Big net. Oh, I definitely got most of them. Then I can just stay still, drop them all in, making sure that none of this duckweed goes in either. Oh, there's a couple still left. I don't know if I'll be able to get them now, surely not. He's not going anywhere near the net. Right, half an hour later, and being very, very patient, I was able to get all of them. Just had to wait. I literally just had to wait there with the net already at the side and just do that, and it worked. What I do not want though is any of this duckweed in the tank. Have we got any in there? Doesn't look, oh, some remnants. I'll scoop that out first. Okay, we're ready. I have to say, these guys are colouring up massively already just from the changes we've made. But now I've got the fish as well. Be interesting to see how they react. They haven't been in with fish for a few months now. Can't get that right, and I'm trying not to splash them. There we go, they're fine. Okay, they've not gone for any of them. Oh, the colours look great in here. I think it's just because there's more light available. Yeah, leave them, leave them. There's definitely some interest going on there. Any aggression? No, they're way too slow. I mean, Aquaria can swim fast, don't get me wrong, but these guys are streamlined. They are made for speed. They won't stay down that area either. They sort of sit mid to upper. So yeah, hopefully this works. I've got a good feeling about it. There was actually some snails that came in on the botanicals because I took them out of another tank. These guys have been munching on them. I didn't know they were snail eaters. They might not be actually sort of crunching them, and they might have been spitting them back out again, but they were definitely having a little nibble. Oh, there we go. There's the male back there. I can tell because the dorsal fin is absolutely huge and he's bigger as well. And then there's his female. So hopefully we can get some great success with it. Great success! Right, it's been about 20 minutes and the blue Aquaria are incredibly blue, I have to say. So something is going on. And the raspora are just, the red-tailed raspora, they're just sort of casually swimming around. Not bothered at all. So that's good to know. I was a little bit worried they're going to go and hide because they've not... Well, they're in the tank with the pearl gourami, which is that size, but not that thickness, and it sort of keeps itself to himself, whereas the electric blue Aquaria are a lot more out there, you know, look. And I was worried they would just be hiding, but that's not the case at all. Everything's going to be good. So I think we've given the best chance here of success. And just a quick one, up here, a lot of you might have seen the recent video that I've just made for this. This is a jungle tank I've done, and it was for green neons and for some endlers as well. And the reason I made this tank is because I did have the green neons in a different one, and I never saw them. But now it's been, even though the video wasn't released that long ago, it's been well over a week since this tank has been made, and they are still out. So like all the time out. So using endlers as a diver fish was great.
And the reason I can put both these fish together, and some people say you can't, my water sits at a pH of 7 out the tap, so you put a little bit of bogwood in it, drops it slightly. Well, my endlers they've been bred in this water, so they're absolutely fine. And green neons as well, they do like a slightly lower pH, but they're even fine at 7. So that's why these two get along really well in this tank, and it's going to just go from strength to strength. The moss is already getting that sort of like knobbly look to the end, and that means it's converting to underwater growth really well. We've got a little bit of a tannin release going on, so as you can see, yeah, there's a little bit of a tint, so I might do a water change on this one as well, but not in this video or any video, because how exciting is a water change? So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see you on the next one.